Good morning, my dears. Today is Sunday, May 31st, 2000. This is an unusual, yet is it another beautiful day which God Himself has made, and we should be glad to be here and be alive because He made this day for us. Therefore, we will rejoice and be glad in it. South Phoenix Baptist Church, my dear, even as we are out of session, God has not stopped watching over us. He neither slumber nor sleep. And I know He is in charge, and no matter what happens, I just believe that God is in charge. Psalms 140, verse 1, deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man and from the violent men. God will deliver us and keep us safe through all of this violence. God is watching over His children, whom He is found worthy. And they are wonderful, and they are magnificent in their faith, and they trust Him for everything, and I do. I trust God for every little thing, thank Him for my bread, for my water, and for just being alive. Thank Him for being 93 and being able to look at the young folks and watch the young folks, being able to pray for them that things will come out like they want them in their day. All of my days are behind me. I've been through all of these young people are going through. As I watch them on the tube, I can sympathize. I don't hate them. I sympathize with them because 60 years ago, I was marching. But our march was called a peaceful march. And we were able to get some things done, but we too had to make it to the streets. So we must pray for our young folk that they, while they're in harm's way, that they will be spared to come back to our Sunday school, come back to our Bible studies and vacation Bible school. We pray for them. What will happen to them when they leave the streets? Will they come back to your classroom? Will they come back to your Sunday school class? Or will they come back to BTU? Or will they come back to the youth choir or the young adult choir? I know that God is in charge. No matter what happens, God is watching over us. And I was looking forward to our coming back in our church on the third Sunday in June. But it does not look like we will be able to come back in and that it would happen. Our coronavirus task force has been working hard to get our church in compliance with the CDC and all of the guidelines that are being put out so that we, when we come back to our worship center, everything will be clean. The seating will be clean and realigned. No longer will be allowed to sit next to him, next to our friends, but now we must sit away from our friend and not talk to them while we're at church, but wait till we get home on the phone. We've come a long way from enjoying one another in church and at church. Now we have to contemplate at home as to whether we would like to go to church. Seating will be realigned, and everything will be in place for our safe re-entry. As your pastor, my number one priority and concern is the safety of our congregation. We've already lost one member to this deadly virus and almost lost two others. And I do not want to lose anymore. As pastor, my love goes out to all of the members of my church. It grieves me when I cannot go into the hospital because of this disease. And I'm used to going to the hospital every time somebody in my church goes to the hospital. But that's been taken away from me. I cannot cry, whine, or moan. I must do like you and all others. Follow the guidelines that have been set for us by somebody else, not the church. Not maybe somebody belongs to the church, but somebody who has the power and authority have decided that the church must go in hiding. Like in Hebrews chapter 11:38. And they went into the dens and caves and into the mountains and wherever they could find lodging. My job as pastor is to try to bring you back into a safe environment. The wearing of masks in public will be one of our sole responsibilities for a long time to come. So when we come back into our church, in order to keep the virus from spreading in our congregation, we will be masking, we will be making some changes and asking everyone to wear a mask, even if you don't like it. I don't like to wear a mask. It hates me to try to talk through a mask, but I must, because the person who sits next to me may be a carrier. So you got to be careful with your mask. Seating will be a line, new seating procedures. Maybe 3 people to a pew, or maybe 4 people to a pew. Whatever the safe distance is, we have to provide that for you before you come back into the church. So we are praying that God will keep you comfortable and safe until you can come back into your worship center. And then when you come back into your worship center, you can feel safe, that you can relax and know that you not only are in God's house, but you're in a safe place. And we know that God is going to keep on protecting you because this is his house. These changes may seem somewhat drastic, but the world, as we know it, has changed. It will never be the same like it used to be. In order to worship together without fear of catching the virus, we must make some changes. Changes that we live with all of our lives. Shaking hands and kissing and hugging has been a part of our Sunday morning agenda. But no longer, brothers and sisters, will we feel comfortable and safe shaking hands even and looking at somebody. This drastic disease that can catch you while you're talking. For research said now that it goes straight to the vocal cord from one person to another one. Choir members can't sing no more. Deacon leading devotion got to cover their faces. It's going to be hard to try to get back in the mainstream, but we got to keep on trusting God, doing what God has enabled us to do, work with each other, love each other, do the best that we can to live by his word. And I thank you for being such a wonderful church. Now, as I hurry to a close, I don't like to close no message without talking about God. I know how good God is. You see, y'all just come on the scene. 93 years ago, the Lord adopted me. And I've been everywhere in the foreign country, the foreign world, and lived on the sea, in ships and on the land. World War II veteran. The Lord watched over me and took care of me. I believe that. I lived by that. My grandma taught me that. I never went to bed nowhere overseas, in the sea, nowhere I ever been that I didn't bow down at night on my knees and said the Lord's Prayer and ask the Lord to watch over me. And I come by to tell you that I know. I know he's able. I know he's able. I said I know he's able because I trust him. And I come by to tell you, my dear, I know God will watch over us until we get back together. And David declared that God is the deliverer. And we as Christians must keep him in our mind, on our minds and our eyes, stayed on the prize. Or else we get off the track. And we tell everyone to wash their hands until they're clean, at least 20 seconds. But who has told somebody to wash their hearts and get their hearts clean? Who has a clean heart and a clean soul? Only those with a clean heart and clean hands shall see God. And if we follow his law and keep our eye focused on him, I hear him say, I came that you may have life and have more abundantly. I got a clothes now, but I come by and say, this is a good day. To all of my preaching friends, y'all keep on preaching. One, I wish I was out there with you today like we were for the candlelight, but I can't be there, boy. Hang on in there, Warren Stewart. You're doing a marvelous job. Hang on in there, you and Brother Mackey and others, Earl, Henry, and all of y'all. Stay on the battlefield. I'm praying for you. I know you're going to make it because the man you serve is able to deliver you and present you before the face of the all-wise God. Got to close now. The old man get tired every now and then. I don't mind folks knowing how old I am. I'm just glad to know that I made 93. I'm praying for y'all. So much danger in the streets. Prayed for them young folk all night last night. Praying for them all day today. Praying for them that God will watch over them. Even though they are doing some things that God may not be pleased with, yet he had not turned against them for their all night. If you don't believe in God, I just say goodbye, good morning, have a good day, and enjoy yourself, because I believe in him. May God bless you today, baby. I love you. I got tired now, but I got to keep on preaching.